Next question. Describe the Bethel Forward and transit-oriented development plans, and how do you feel about these projects? This includes the crossover bridge plan over the train tracks at the Bethel train station. I believe Bethel is requesting $600,000 from the state. Do you expect to receive this amount? How much will the town of Bethel contribute in addition, and how is it affording this?
Where do you want to start?
Well, it's a lot of questions all about the TOD, basically
Okay.
for people who didn't know what it was about.
Again, that entire issue is in the hands of planning and zoning. I personally do support it, and I'll tell you why. For the reasons I've already said, people are changing in this country the way they live. The millennial generation, the one that's coming in behind it, has little, and let me also add, seniors have little interest anymore in buying a house out in the suburbs where you have to get in the car to drive to the grocery store. And this is why cities are booming across this country, even in places where the cost of living is extremely high. People want to live in a community where they're more connected to people. They want to live in a community where they can walk to the library and walk to the store, walk to the ice, take the kids for a stroll and go get ice cream in the summer. And that is really the concept about the whole TOD. And what's really funny about that is TOD is not a new idea. If you walk up and down Greenwood Avenue, that is a 19th century transit-oriented development. If you know anything about Bethel history, you know that the original center of town was over on Main Street where the Congregational Church is. And those homes there were at one time shops and businesses. And the center of town moved over to where it is now because, why? The train came through. So business and residents developed around the train station. It's really not a radical idea. It's just putting people closer to where they want to be and how they want to live. So I'm in favor of that. Now, you asked a question about the pedestrian bridge.
Right.
The plan that was developed by planning and zoning, that went through that process, calls for retail mixed development on both sides of the railroad tracks. The plan originally said called for an at-grade crossing.
Oh, that's not just for the bridge, that $600,000?
No.
It includes shops?
No. That's just for the bridge.
Just for the bridge, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
But the original plan called for an at-grade crossing, with crossing gates, so that you could go from one side of the tracks to the other.
Right.
Janice Christianic and Mike Boyle, Economic Development Commission Chair, and Beth Cavagna had a meeting in Mr. Rediker's office, who's the Commissioner of DOT, last winter, and they said, you're not going to get an at-grade crossing. The at-grade crossings, new at-grade crossings are prohibited by the state legislature for safety reasons. So unless you can get the legislature to approve it, you're not going to get it. And I can tell you, it would cost you millions because you can't really put it that close to the station anyway. So Mr. Rediker said, correctly, and his staff was there and his engineers, they said, your best bet is to have a pedestrian bridge like is
Goes
common.
over?
It just
Okay.
goes from one side to the other. So yes, we put in a grant application. At this point, we have no idea if that grant will be approved. We have no idea when. We have no idea if it will contain a cost share. Those are things that have to be determined in the future. But I will say this, the vast majority of development is not going to be on the taxpayer's dime. It's going to be on the property owner's dime because the developers are required to do this. If you improve an area and there's an impact to the area around it, the property owner has to accommodate that change. It's like when they put in Big Y up in Stony Hill, and there had to be a reconfiguration, new lights, new lanes. The property developer paid all those costs, not the taxpayers. So that's really what we're looking at.
Okay.